and start this up. Yo, guys, tell me if the music is too loud. The music is too loud. It's quiet for me, but you guys let me know if it's too loud. Oh, it's gonna be fun, Mikkel. It's gonna be another good one. Man, you've been putting some real good stuff in Discord. I get on, like, obviously I don't have too much time to be in Discord and like hang out, which sucks, especially now there's a whole bunch of people in there, because you got, anytime I look, you guys are talking about things that I love. Super interesting stuff. But Mikkel, I always at least make sure I see anything that you've thrown up, because it's all just gold. It's always so good. You and Winter are both atheists. Yeah, I mean, I don't care. Most people that I actually enjoy being around are atheists. Orky. Most people that I actually enjoy being around are atheists. There are very few Christians that I genuinely enjoy being around, because they're not my kind of people. I don't like the way they behave. I don't like the way they act. I don't like the hypocrisy. It's not for me. I mean, if you haven't picked that up by now, then I don't know what else I can do to help you. But it's pretty obvious I am not a normal Christian. Never will be. And there's a very good reason for that. So I'm thrilled that we have atheists in the group, and we have atheists showing up to a Bible study. And not because I care if you become Christian, because I don't, which would probably get me in trouble, but I just don't. That's not my problem. That's not my job. I'm gonna come on here. I'm gonna be honest. We're gonna be transparent about what things actually say, whether they seem valid or not. I mean, I just recently got tore apart for talking about how Genesis isn't literal, in my opinion. Always very clear that it's my opinion, but I do not find Genesis to be literal, and so I just got tore apart for that recently. But you do think you believe in the Word of God and also believe in evolution. I don't think I've ever said that I believe in evolution. I normally don't talk about what I believe. I'll tell you guys what I don't believe. But again, it's not what I don't ever want this to become is, you know, people listen to me. Whether they respect me or whether they like the way I deliver things or whether they think I'm smart, whatever it is, I don't want anybody changing their beliefs based on something that I say. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here for information. I want to talk about things as a group. I want to have a conversation. I want to dive into texts that the church would never let you read, like Enoch, like we're doing tonight. I don't have any desire to sway what you believe. That's on you. I think Christians can believe in evolution. Yeah, of course they can. Christians can believe in whatever they want. Again, that's not for me to decide or really to judge. I'll judge that internally. And if we end up talking about it, yeah, I'm happy to talk about it. But I don't care if a Christian believes in evolution. The evolution thing is hard to justify if you are a young Earth creationist, because that makes no sense. Scientifically, it makes no sense. But you have young Earth guys. We'll actually start reading in like about 10 minutes. We'll wait till about 6:05 and then we'll start reading. But you have young Earth creationists and you have old Earth creationists. In my opinion, as always, I think it's really hard to rectify Genesis with a old Earth creationist belief system. However, there are a lot of Christians who don't take Genesis as literal, and they do adhere to evolution. There are also Christians who don't take Genesis literal and also don't believe in evolution. I think evolution to a degree is impossible to say doesn't exist in some manner. At the very least, you have adaptation, right? That's proven, because even in one lifetime, you can observe adaptation. In a single lifetime, my birth to my death, it's very hard to observe evolution. So that's the difference. And again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong or it exists or it doesn't. I'm saying these are the thought processes that I have run into dealing with Christians. Think of it. Will you believe in microevolution as a young? I'm not a young Earth creationist. Oh, not you specifically. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, there are people that believe that. Sure. The spectrum of Christians, as far as like the origins go, the origin story, taking Genesis, taking evolution, taking science, kind of all jumbled together. There's a wide spectrum of Christians who believe in this, but not that. They believe in both of these. They believe in all three of these, or they believe in this one and not that one. It's a pretty big spectrum of people and what they believe, which is why I think it becomes confusing. But I think like what is taught in mainstream Christianity, I believe, is primarily young earth creation, at least in my experience as a pastor and going to seminary, has been young earth creationism and evolution doesn't exist. Those would be kind of the main beliefs in my opinion from what I've seen. But again, I'm not saying that's me. I'm saying that's what I've seen. Microevolution is basically dogs produce dogs, cats produce cats. Sure. I mean, within the same thing, you have adaptation, which again, like you can observe that. Microevolution, you can observe. Adaptation, you can observe. Right? Microevolution is essentially breeding, right? Or goes hand in hand with breeding. So you can observe, I mean, you can observe it in people too, right? You take two very attractive people with very good genetics, you put them together, they have a kid. That kid is likely to share many of the same features. Yeah, variation and adaptation, exactly. And I have an easy time with that because, again, you can observe that. In a single lifetime, you can personally observe that. Macro is Looney Tunes. Macroevolution, I haven't ever given an opinion on, and I'm not going to. I have what I have about the evolution theory. I have what I have about adaptation. I feel as strongly as I'm going to feel about any of it. I mean, unless presented with something new, but it's not something I really care about. It doesn't affect my day-to-day life. It doesn't, either way, whichever way it goes, macro, micro, adaptation, any of this stuff, it affects none of my theology. It affects none of my belief, I guess, to say it simply. It affects nothing. So anybody who's been around long enough with me knows if it's not essential, I don't care. It was like when we did the flat earth talk a couple weeks ago on a Thursday. We talked about flat earth versus a spherical earth. I don't care. So it's not something I've spent a whole lot of time on. I'll spend enough time on a topic to say, okay, does this have the potential of interrupting my belief system, my spiritual belief system? And if it does, then I'll go into it real hard. I'll spend a whole bunch of time on it. I'll spend months or years on it because that means it matters to me. Because if something's going to wreck my belief system, I do want to know about it. I don't want to live in delusion of believing things because they make me feel good, or believing them because I was raised to believe them, or anything like that. I want to believe something because it makes sense. I'm a very logical and analytical person. So if something threatens or potentially threatens my belief system, that is what I spend my time on. I've spent some time on the flat earth thing. Doesn't interrupt my belief system. I've spent some time on it, way more time than flat earth, on evolution, adaptation, things like this. Either way, they don't do anything to my belief system. If I was a Genesis, taking that book literal, then they in all honesty, they would mess with my belief system. But I've never taken Genesis literal. So it just kind of floats right over me, right? If you guys have anything you want me to look at, because you think it will shake me or whatever, send it to me. For sure. I'm open to looking at whatever. And I mean, evolution and adaptation, that's something we will do a Thursday on. The Thursday stream, we do this Sunday and we do this Thursday. The Thursday is a topic that you guys vote on in Discord. I do need to put evolution on the list, actually, because I don't think it is. But that's something we should dive into. And it'd be great if you guys as atheists were here. That'd be wonderful. It'd be great to have both sides. We had a few flat earthers stumble into the stream. The last stream, it got a little bit heated for a second, I guess. Actually, with Ghost right there. Got a little bit of heat going on. But it was good. It was good to have people in there who believe in something that most of us didn't. At least that's the way it appeared. Is that most people didn't believe in flat earth. So it was good to have some of them there. And it'd be the same thing. If we did evolution, I would love to have you both there so you can give your spiel and you 2 cents, and you'd be free to come on to you guys are free to come on to The Voice, right? If you come in Discord on a Thursday, we're talking about evolution, adaptation, micro, macro, the whole nine. You guys come on The Voice and we can talk. And then everybody can hear you and you're not having to type whatever 200 character limit on YouTube chat. I think that'd be great. Graves, what's going on, man? Few minutes and we'll get rolling here. Well, do you think you're gonna make a response to morgue officials video that says Jesus is Lucifer? Yeah, I will, but it's awful. I watched it and I saved it as something that I'll get into. So I keep a list in the order of which people send me things. Same with DMs. I go through them in the order in which they come to try to be fair, right? So I added that video to the list, but it's honestly, it's silly as hell. So I mean, I'll do it, but it's kind of ridiculous, to be honest. I'm real into like Thomas and these lost gospels. I mean, we're reading one right now. This isn't a lost gospel, but this is a book that the Christian faith does not agree with. So I'm very open to these books. But so I've read what they're talking about and what they're pulling that from. But if you have one text that says something and you have 40 texts that say the opposite, I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock in the one text that says the differentiating thing. It's a silly argument. This thing that Jesus is Lucifer is kind of silly. But I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. Macroevolution does not explain the origins of life. Evolution just has a guess. Huh. Why, Jalen? Why would, and I'm not saying I believe in evolution, but why does macroevolution not explain the origins? Just because it doesn't have an actual starting place? Because that's kind of the issue with that thought process. Yeah, even as an atheist, I believe Jesus was a real person, but I don't believe he was Lucifer. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's not corroborated. It's just silly. As far as like academically, it's silly. It's one little thing thrown out in the gospel that even from me isn't very reliable. It's not corroborated anywhere. There's issues with that. Enoch, what we're reading right now, albeit Christians don't agree with it, it's not a part of their Bible, it still has validity to it. And it's corroborated other places in ancient literature. So it's got some weight, right? Something we should care about. I can't say that about a lot of these other lost gospels. I'll bring my list when we talk about evolution. Done. Sounds good. Yeah, I need that. I'll add that to the poll starting next week. Guys, remember too, the poll for what we're talking about Thursday. Let me pull this up real quick. The poll is going to close. Oh, it already closed? No. Oh, I haven't even posted it. I'm an idiot. All right, well, I'll post a poll for this Thursday tonight, and I'll make sure evolution is on that list. I'll make sure it's on the list, because that would be a good one to go over for sure. That would definitely be a good one to go over. All right, guys, we're going to get rolling here in just a second. If you have not been with us before, welcome. Glad you're here. We're going to be talking about Enoch. We're going to be reading Enoch. This is part 7 of our Enoch study. If you were not here for the beginning of it, that is quite all right, because it's very confusing and you can pretty much jump in wherever, because you're going to feel lost no matter what. So if you have not joined our Discord, however, there is a QR code right there at the top in the middle. You can scan that and get in. I will also drop a link real quick in the chat. So if you have any interest in hopping in there, you can hop in there. Let's see, where are we at here? Where are we at? There it is. All right, here's a link to get in. I'm going to get rid of the QR code now. And just so you see real quick kind of what we're working with, everybody kind of hangs out in the off topic constantly. It's real good, funny stuff in there. Theology, very specific to the theological side of the Christian faith. Culture and news is exactly what it sounds like. You got conspiracy and then the library and Bible in there. Also, if you want to come on to speak, specifically on Thursdays, but if anybody does want to come on a Sunday, I'm up for it. At the end of the Bible study, just let me know in the chat, and you can join this red dot section. That's the event voice. Just hop in there. Make sure you're muted. If you're not muted, I'm going to boot you out. And then once it's good to go, we can unmute you, and then you can come on, give your 2 cents, whatever. So if you're interested in joining Discord, hop in there. But let's get this rolling. I got to be off by like 7:15 at the latest tonight. Also, if you want to submit a prayer, there's a prayer section in Discord. We have a prayer team that will take care of it. They'll also, you put private or public. Private will come to just the prayer team and myself. And then the public is what I'll read publicly at the end of these streams. So we can do that together. All right, let me get this here real quick and then we'll go. I would love to hear Winter participate on The Voice. Yeah, I would. I'm telling you guys, I'm not being sarcastic. When we do the evolution and adaptation, I'll give you as much notice as possible. I don't know, Winter, if you're in Discord. I know that Corgi is. So I'll give you guys notice, but it'd be great if you come on and talk. And it's not a gotcha and it's not a debate or whatever. I would genuinely like to hear you guys' point of view. I think it's great that y'all are here. It makes me uncomfortable to be in a group full of Christians, to be quite honest. So I'm very happy you guys are here. Let me see. So one guy on an island changed the direction of humanity. Daniel, I don't even know what that means, man. You're going to have to be more specific with that, bud. All right, where we left off, and I'm very glad that we did. Please pray for our first day of school on August 10th. I got you, man. I got you. All right, we left off on Noah's vision. This was good. I'm glad that we decided to stop before this and not read it halfway because it's very interesting. So here you go. In the year 500, in the 7th month, on the 14th day of the month, in the life of Enoch. In that parable, I saw how a mighty quaking made the heaven of heavens to quake. And the host of the Most High and the angels, 1,010,000 times 10,000, were disquieted and great foreboding. And the head of days sat on the throne of his glory, and the angels and the righteous stood around him. And a great trembling seized me, and fear took a hold of me, and my legs gave way, and I melted with the weakness and fell on my face. And Michael sent another angel from among the holy ones, and he raised me up. And when he had raised me up, my spirit returned. For I had not been able to endure the look of this host, and the disturbance and the shaking of heaven. And Michael said to me, why are you upset with such a vision? Until this day, his mercy and long-suffering has lasted toward those who dwell on the earth. And when the day and the power and the punishment and the judgments come, which the Lord of spirits hath prepared for those who worship not the righteous law, and for those who deny the righteous judgment, and for those who take his name in vain, that day is prepared. It will be a covenant for the elect, but for sinners an inquisition. When the punishment of the Lord of spirits shall rest on them, it will not come in vain, and it shall slay the children with their mothers, and the children with their fathers. And on that day, 2 monsters were separated from one another, a female monster named Leviathan, to dwell in the abyss of the ocean over the fountains of the water. And the male is named Behemoth, who occupied with his breast a wasted wilderness named Duedian, on the east of the garden where the elect and righteous dwell, where my great-grandfather was taken up, the 7th from Adam, the first man whom the Lord of spirits created. And I asked the other angel to show me the might of those monsters, how they were separated on one day and thrown, the one into the abyss of the sea, and the other into earth's desert. And he said to me, Son of man, you wish to know what is kept secret. And the other angel who went with me and showed me what was kept secret told me what is first and last in heaven, in the sky, and beneath the earth in the depth, and at the end of heaven, and on the foundation of heaven. and the storehouse of the winds, and how the winds are divided, and how they are weighted, and how the doors of the winds are calculated for each according to the power of the wind, and the power of the lights of the moon according to the power that is fitting, and the divisions of the stars according to their names, and how all divisions are divided, and the thunder according to the places where they fall, and all the divisions that are made among the lightning, that it may light, and their host, that they may at once obey. For the thunder has places of rest, which are assigned while it is waiting for its peal. And the thunder and lightning are inseparable, and although not one and undivided, they both go together in spirit and are not separate. For when the lightning flashes, the thunder utters its voice, and the spirit enforces a pause during the peal, and divides equally between them. For the treasury of their peal is like the sand of an hourglass, and each one of them, as it peals, is held in with a bridle and turned back by the power of the Spirit, and pushed forward according to the many parts of the earth. And the spirit of the sea is masculine and strong, and according to the might of his strength, he draws it back with a rein. And in like manner, it is driven forward and disperses in the midst of all the mountains of the earth. And the spirit of the hoarfrost is his own angel, and the spirit of the hail is a good angel. And the spirit of the snow has forsaken his storehouse because of his strength. There is a special spirit there, and that which ascends from it is like smoke, and its name is frost. And the spirit of the mist is not united with them in their storehouse, but it has a special storehouse. For its course is glorious both in light and in darkness, and in winter and in summer, and in its storehouse is an angel. And the spirit of the dew has its dwelling at the ends of heaven, and is connected with the storehouse of the rain. And its course is in winter and summer, and its clouds and the clouds in the mist are connected, and the one gives to the other. And when the spirit of the rain goes out from its storehouse, the angels come and open the storehouse and lead it out. And when it is diffused over the whole earth, it unites with the water on the earth. And whether it unites with the water on the earth, for the waters are for those who live on the earth, they are become nourishment for the earth from the Most High, who is in heaven. Therefore, there is a measurement for the rain, and the angels are in charge of it. And these things I saw toward the garden of the righteous. And the angel of peace who was with me said to me, these two monsters, prepared in accordance with the greatness of the Lord, will feed them the punishment of the Lord. And the children will be killed with their mothers, and sons with their fathers. Job 3:8 reference here. Hold on. All right, Job 3:8. May those who curse days curse that day. Those who are ready to rouse Leviathan. Isaiah 27:1. In that day, the Lord will punish with his sword, his fierce, great, and powerful sword. Leviathan, the gliding serpent. Leviathan, the coiling serpent. He will slay the monster of the sea. All right, I'm gonna look at the chat real quick so I don't get super behind. And then we'll hop into chapter 61. The head of days, quite a comparison, right? Going to have to check out next week's live session. My data is capped and the live video is constantly buffering. Hope tonight goes well. Oh man, bummer. Well, hopefully we'll see you next time. I can't participate tonight with family. Best believe I'm going to watch later tonight. Ghost, you will be missed, man. You have become paramount on these streams. You at least provide massive entertainment for me, and I appreciate it. Crater Earth vibes. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit, huh? All right. Chapter 61. And I saw in those days that the long cords were given to those angels, and they took to themselves wings and flew, and they went towards the north. I asked the angel, saying to him, why have those angels who have cords taken flight? And he said to me, they have gone to take measurements. You got an author's note here. Author's note says there were no tape measures in those days. Shocking. Measurements were taken by a simple rope or stick. The rope may have knots placed in it. Usual measurements were based on a man's forearm, the length of an arm, or the span of the arm. In this case, the measurements based on those of the Lord or his appointed angels encoded secret knowledge. We're going to get into that when we get into numerology, because that's really interesting too. I haven't thought about that in a long time. So there was obviously in numerology, there's a lot of like secrets, right? There's a lot of secret numbers that are attributed to other things. It's similar in measurement. There's a lot of ways that they would measure and then encoded secrets within measurements if you were to actually perform the measurement. It's pretty interesting, whether you're into like that stuff or not. Shannon, you are not excused. You have a tardy mark on your cord there, bud. Leviathan is an extinct. Oh my God, you scared me. Hi. Hey, what's up? I forgot You were late. That's what you did. You should already know. It's okay. It's okay. But it's also not. Well, I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing good. Good. Hey, we gotta plan a call. Okay. All right. Good. Let's yeah, text Kat because I probably won't see it. Well, I guess if you text me, I will. But yeah, reach out. Let's do that. Let's do that this week. You don't? Oh well, get it from Kat. I'll try to remember to send it to you after, but you know, my mind is all over the place. I will do my best though. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, bye. Let's see. Leviathan is an extinct sperm whale. That's interesting. I would like to hear more about that, Winter. If you have 200 characters you can throw out about that, I'd love to hear it. No way does Leviathan describe a whale. Yeah, it's kind of tough to describe him as a whale, considering the rest of the description there and elsewhere, even an extinct one. All right. Verse 3. And the angel who went with me said to me, these shall bring the measurements of the righteous and the cords of the righteous to the righteous, that they may rely on the name of the Lord of spirits forever and ever. The elect shall begin to dwell with the elect, and those who are the measurements. Let's pay attention to that. Those are the measurements. There will be a time when we come back to this. Which shall be given to faith and which shall strengthen righteousness. And these measurements shall reveal all the secrets of the depths of the earth, and those who have been destroyed by the desert, and those who have been devoured by the beasts, and those who have been devoured by the fish of the sea, that they may return and rely on the day of the elect one. None shall be destroyed before the Lord of spirits, and none can be destroyed. Period. And all who dwell in heaven receive a command and power in one voice and one light like to fire. And they blessed him with their first words. God, I swear my eyes go out real quick. I need to remember to wear glasses. And with their first words, and exalted and praised him in their wisdom. And they were wise in utterance and in the spirit of life. And the Lord of spirits placed the elect one on the throne of glory, and he shall judge all the works of the holy above in heaven. And in the balance their deeds shall be weighed. You got a reference here to 2 Timothy 4:1, pastoral epistle. I charge thee, therefore, before God and the Lord Jesus Christ, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing in his kingdom. Back to Enoch 9, and when he shall lift up his face to judge their secret ways according to the word of the name of the Lord of spirits, and their path according to the way of the righteous judgment of the Lord of spirits. Then they shall all speak with one voice, and bless and glorify and exalt the name of the Lord of spirits. And he will summon all the hosts of heaven, and all the holy ones above, and the host of God, and cherubim, seraphim, and Ophanium, and all the angels of power, and all the angels of principalities, angels that rule over other angels, and the elect one, and the other powers on the earth and over the water. On that day shall rise one voice, and bless and glorify and exalt in the spirit of faith, and in the spirit of wisdom, and in the spirit of patience, and in the spirit of mercy, and in the spirit of judgment, and of peace, and in the spirit of goodness, and shall all say with one voice, Blessed is he, and may the name of the Lord of spirits be blessed forever and ever. All who do not sleep above in heaven shall bless him. All the holy ones who are in heaven shall bless him, and all the elect who dwell in the garden of life, and every spirit who is able to bless and glorify and exalt and praise your blessed name, and to the extent of its ability, all flesh shall glorify and bless your name forever and ever. For great is the mercy of the Lord of spirits. He is long-suffering, and all his works and all that he has created, he has revealed to the righteous and elect in the name of the Lord of spirits. Now, we got, oh, come on, baby. Numbers 14, 18. I'm pulling up a different translation here so it's easier. And so I have it ready to go. All right, the Lord is slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love, forgiving iniquity and transgressions. He will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generation. All right, let me try make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm sure it's just the ladies chatting though. Chewan. So I assume you are atheist as well, because you called out Winter. And I learned today that Winter is an atheist. And so is Corgi, which is fantastic. All right, let's see. Jesus defeats them with the sword from his mouth. I already read that. But then Goddess Lily, you're not too late. You're just in time. You're just in time. Hey, since I see a few new people, we're going to pause real quick. Anybody who is new, just so you are aware, we have a Discord. There it is. Everybody talks in there all week long. We do 2 streams a week. We will be bumping that up to a 3rd. I'll have details about that soon. But I wanna have a 3rd one to go over something else. So we do a Bible study Sunday. We do a topic discussion on Thursday that you guys vote on in that Discord channel. So if you join the Discord, you will have a vote. I don't pick what we talk about. You guys pick what we talk about. But there will be a 3rd stream coming in soon. You can also scan that QR code. I'll keep that up for just a second. But get in there. Get in there. That's where everything actually happens, and that's where all the prepping for these takes place. So pop in the Discord. Thus the Lord commanded the kings and the mighty and the exalted and those who dwell on the earth, and said, Open your eyes and lift up your horns, if you are able to recognize the elect one. Psalm 24:7, Lift up your hands, O ye gates, and be ye lift up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. And the Lord of spirits seated him on the throne of his glory, and the spirit of righteousness was poured out on him. And the word of his mouth slays all the sinners, and all the unrighteous are destroyed from in front of his face. Revelation 19:15-16. Let me get this up in a different translation so it is easier to read. God, 15-16. God, my eyes are so bad. From his mouth comes a sharp sword with which to strike down the nations, and he will rule them with a rod of iron. He will tread on winepress of the fury of the wrath of God the Almighty. On his robe and on his thigh he has a name written, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. While I have you, here's a short rant about this. So I did a video on TikTok. My glasses, I had them a minute ago. And then I took them off because I'm like, I don't need these glasses. But I forget that it's 20 minutes into reading is when I need the glasses. But anyways, I did a video on TikTok talking about tattoos. It has 2.5 million views or something, right? So it went viral. I had people push back, but also agree. But one of the things Christians started throwing out was like, was that, oh, well, Jesus had a tattoo, so tattoos are okay. Jesus had a tattoo. And as much as I want to be on team Jesus had a tattoo, it's very unlikely. It's almost impossible. Jesus more than likely did not have a tattoo. So if you're interested in hearing what I think actually this is talking about, there is a video on my TikTok. It's Did Jesus Have a Tattoo? I think it's pinned at the top, but it explains in depth. There's three different possibilities of what this verse of Jesus, let's say, on his robe, on his thigh, he has a name written, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Christians in this generation are like, oh, he's got a tattoo. How badass. This justifies me getting tattoos. It doesn't. There's other things that justify you getting tattoos if you feel that's something you want to do with your life. But it's not that verse. And Jesus probably did not have a tattoo. But if you're interested in hearing that, there is a video on TikTok where I talk about it. I should probably make a YouTube video about that too, though. So where are they so I can deliver them to you? I don't know. They're in here somewhere. I think they're too far away is the problem. Jesus, a tattoo like Iron Mike Tyson on his face. Dude, could you imagine if Jesus had like just King of Kings blasted across his forehead? Jesus with the teardrop tattoos, just ready to wreck. Teardrop for every demonic soul he just crushes. That would oh my God, Shannon, do it. Join our cult. Cat, you got to explain at some point. What was it the other day where you were like looking at me and maybe it was yesterday. I'm like, what are you thinking about? And you're like, I was just thinking about our cult. And God, I can't remember. Like you cooking for the cult or something, or like having a garden on the compound. I can't remember what it was, but it was very funny. All right, going back in. And in that day, all the kings and the mighty and the exalted and those who hold the earth shall stand up and shall see and recognize that he sits on the throne of his glory, and that righteousness is judged before him, and no lying word is spoken before him. Then pain will come on them as on a woman in labor, and she has pain in giving birth when her child enters the mouth of the womb, when she has pain in childbirth. Now we got Micah chapter 4, verse 10. Nope. Come on, baby. Come on, verse 10. Just 10? Just 10. Writhe and groan, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in labor. For now you shall go out from the city and dwell in the open country. You shall go to Babylon. There you shall be rescued. There the Lord will redeem you from the hand of your enemies. I will not be sharing that, but thanks for the invite. Whatever. Was it bad? I don't even remember. All right. One portion of them shall look at the other, and they shall be terrified, and they shall look downcast, and pain shall seize them when they see that Son of Man sitting on the throne of his glory. All right, this is short enough. We can deal with the Old English. Matthew 25:31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. Verse 6. And the kings and the mighty and all who possess the earth shall bless and glorify and exalt him who rules over all, who was hidden. Who was hidden is something to take note of, because it is something that is referenced often within these ancient texts, right? So he who is hidden, or them which were hidden, these are things to just kind of make note of so that you can go back through your notes later and see where things correspond. 7. For from the beginning the Son of Man was hidden, and the Most High preserved him in the presence of his might, and revealed him to the elect. And the congregation of the elect and holy shall be sown, and all the elect shall stand before him on that day. And all the kings and the mighty and the exalted and those who rule the earth shall fall down before him on their faces and worship and set their hope on the Son of Man and petition him and supplicate for mercy at his hands. Nevertheless, the Lord of spirits will so press them that they shall heavily go out from his presence, and their faces shall be filled with shame, and the darkness grows deeper on their faces. And he will deliver them to the angels for punishment, to execute vengeance on them, because they have opposed his children and his elect. And they shall be a spectacle for the righteous and for his elect. They shall rejoice over them, because the wrath of the Lord of spirits rests on them, and his sword is drunk with their blood. What a phrase, man. What a phrase. All right, let me pop in here real quick. No, not bad, just real dumb. It wasn't dumb, it was funny. Shannon, you were late. You're disqualified. Oh, you were trying to get your kid to go to sleep. What a convenient excuse, Shannon, for dogging on the Lord, for not showing up to your Lord study. Not okay. Never forgiven. Remember, determinists say that using classical physics, we can know the exact position of every particle and how the laws of the universe work. Therefore, we can't predict exactly what will happen in the future using these laws. True. True. Maybe I missed an earlier comment. What's the point? What are you relating this to? 5 a.m. Oh, you have to leave at 5 a.m.? Girl, I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 7 days a week. No excuses, Shannon. No excuses. No sympathy. I'm not the guy to get early morning sympathy from. Sorry. Somebody else will give it to you, though. However, at quantum level, it is completely indeterministic, and nothing is certain unless an observer makes a measurement. The observer. Oh, well done, Mikkel. The observer. The observer. Yes, I agree that physics can explain a lot, but not the origins, 100%. And you can't predict exacts. It's been proven mistaken in the past. Here's my issue with this big push. Like, I'm a big science guy. I like science. I think it does explain a whole lot. Hey, Kip, no, quiet. It explains a whole lot, but it's been proven throughout human history to be wrong a lot. Like a lot. We find out, something was peer-reviewed study for 15 years. We feel like we got the answer. Sure. Now, fast forward 30 years, we know none of that was true. Nutrition is just one example of this. Okay. I've been in physical fitness as a job for a long time. It was my first career. It was my longest career. I was in there for a long time. I have certifications in nutrition as a dietitian. Every 2 years, we learn that what we know about nutrition and how the human body processes and works with food is wrong. And then you have to relearn everything. So it's just one example of how, yes, science explains a lot. Yes, we can bank on a lot of science as an explanation as what is happening in the natural world. How do things work in the natural world? The issue is that constantly we prove that it is not reliable. It's not always reliable. So it's really good, and I think it's a tool, but it's not an end-all be-all. Like these and I'm not saying this is you guys, but there are many atheists, obviously, and I was one of them for a period of my life, that they make science God. And it's like, sure, you're free to do that, but your God is extremely imperfect because it's proven over and over that, not that it's wrong, but yeah, sometimes that it's wrong, but more or less like we didn't know as much as we did then. So now we're putting more together. We're adding to it. But yeah, science is good. It's really good. It's very important. Agree, it helps the evidence that the Bible is true. There are many ways that, yeah, science does. There are also many ways that science hurts Christianity as a concept. I mean, we have to be honest about both ways. It does certainly go both ways. Science doesn't get right all the time, 100%, 100%. So it's a tool, just like Christianity doesn't get things right every time at all, at all. We need to be honest about all these things. That's the whole thing, man. Like, seek information, learn information, but you need to be unbiased and you need to be honest. And if something hurts your current belief system, you need to explore it more and not just walk away from it or ignore it, because that is the definition of a sheep. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Take it to heart and try to figure out what's actually going on, even if it threatens your belief system. I hate when I stop reading and I forget where I was at. All right, we read that. We read that. Saying God exists because he exists is the Simpsons. In The Simpsons would be a terrible argument for God's existence. Yeah, I think I just talked about that. Winter, if you didn't see, I did like the other day, it's the last video that I posted on YouTube. It was 6 things Christians can't answer. And it was a list from an atheist sent to me. And so I answered them. But one of them was exactly that. Like when talking to people who don't believe in God, don't use the Bible, because it's illogical. It's very stupid, right? It makes you look dumb. But 2, like, don't just say God is real because I think so. Like, that's a bad argument. It's a bad argument. You're not going to win anybody to in any way, even just as a conversation, but you're certainly not going to win in 2023 anybody to God by using these 1980s arguments, right? Like, God exists because God exists. God is real because I feel him in my heart. Like, just sure, dude, that might be true. You're not convincing anybody with that crap. That's not how that works. That's not the way to go about that. Oh, thanks, Mikkel. It was pretty good, right? It was just kind of off the cuff, but it was good. It was good. And then if you guys haven't seen too, I did a response to a TikTok about biblical slavery. She had some wild beliefs about how the slavery that happened in the US related to biblical slavery, and it was just kind of ridiculous. So that's up there too if you haven't seen that. All right, let's continue on here. We got Revelation. Yeah, people sound super dumb when they do that. You can't do that nowadays. That's the way a lot of us grew up, right? We grew up being told to believe in God because God is real. Believe in God because we say so. Like, that was what I grew up. You're going to go to church. You're going to believe in God because I'm telling you to. And that didn't work. It made me a hardcore atheist for like most of my younger years. It's bad. But nowadays, you really can't get away with that. You really can't. All right, we got Revelation 21, 3 through 4. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Behold, the dwelling place, and God is with man. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people. And God himself will be with them as their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore. For the former things have passed away." All right, 15, back in Enoch. "The righteous and elect shall have risen from the earth and ceased to be downcast, and they will have been clothed with garments of life. And these shall be the garments of life from the Lord of spirits. They shall not wear out, nor will your glory pass away from before the Lord of spirits. In those days shall the mighty and the kings who possess the earth beg him to grant them a little respite from their angels of punishment to whom they were delivered, that they might fall down and worship before the Lord of spirits and confess their sins before him." Romans 14, 11 and 12. "For it is written, as I live, saith the Lord, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to God. So then every one of us shall give account of himself to God. And they shall bless and glorify the Lord of spirits, and say, Blessed is the Lord of spirits, and the Lord of kings, and the Lord of the mighty, and the Lord of the rich, and the Lord of glory, and the Lord of wisdom. And every secret is revealed in front of you. Your power is from generation to generation, and your glory forever and ever. Deep and innumerable are all your secrets, and your righteousness is beyond reckoning. We have now learned that we should glorify and bless the Lord of kings, and he who is king over all kings." Sorry, give me 1 second. All right, there we go. "And they shall say, Would that we had a respite to glorify and give thanks and confess our faith before his glory. And now we long for a little respite, but find it not. We are driven away and obtain it not. And the light has vanished from before us, and darkness is our dwelling place forever and ever, because we have not believed in him, nor glorified the name of the Lord of spirits, but our hope was in the scepter of our kingdom and in our own glory. In the day of our suffering and tribulation, he does not save, and we find no respite for confession that our Lord is true in all his works, and in his judgments, and in his justice, and his judgments have no respect of person. Romans 2, 7 through 13. To them who by patient continuance in well-doing seek for glory and honor and immortality, eternal life. But unto them that are contentious and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, indignation, and wrath, tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Jews first, and also of the Gentiles. But glory, honor, and peace to every man that worketh good, to the Jew first, and also to the Gentile. For there is no respect of persons with God. For as many as have sinned without law shall also perish without law. And as many have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. For not the hearer of the law are just before God, but the doer of the law shall be justified. Boom. Think about saved by grace versus saved by works and the argument there. I know we talked about it last week a little bit. Galen, remember, as Saint Niesius apostle stated, there are no facts, only interpretations. Boom. Gold. There are no facts, only interpretations. It makes sense. Jesus spoke in the parable to be interpreted for those who have ears to hear. Unfortunately, though, I think many of us do not have those ears. Yeah, I mean, that's 100% true, right? And even if you hear, you're not processing it. It just goes right in and out. Everyone has these spiritual eyes and ears. Is up to other flame bearers to revive them, help them open their eyes and ears. Yeah, I mean, that's Joe's doing a prayer. I mean, that's all I care about, dude. That's why I try not to give my opinion as much as possible, because I don't care about that. I just want people to pay attention. Pay attention, learn something, like give half of one and just care, do research. Like don't believe in something as wild as Christianity, because it is wild. It's a wild thing to believe in. Don't believe in Christianity and not be able to conscientiously and cohesively and coherently express why you got there, like why you believe it, not just cause. It's not a good way to look at it, in my opinion. Right and logical. Joe the Theist. Yeah, very much, right? Very much. There's a reason I went with that name. All right, 9. We pass away from before his face on account of our works, and all our sins are judged in comparison to righteousness. Now they shall say to themselves, our souls are full of unrighteous gain. But what we have gained does not prevent us from descending from the midst of our worldly gain into the torment or burden of hell or Sheol. And after that, their faces shall be filled with darkness and shame before that Son of Man, and they shall be driven from his presence, and the sword shall abide before his face in their midst. Thus spoke the Lord of spirits. This is the ordinance and judgment with respect to the mighty and the kings and the exalted and those who possess the earth before the Lord of spirits. Chapter 64. And other forms I saw hidden in that place. I heard the voice of the angel saying, there are the angels who descended to the earth and revealed what was hidden to the children of men and seduced the children of men into committing sin. That's that drawback to what we were talking about in the beginning, like the very beginning, about how the Nephilim were produced, right? All right, Jude. How old English is this? That's not bad. We'll be all right. Jude 1:6. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. So this is that idea, and I think we talked about it. This is that idea that there are these angels who left whatever their habitation was, wherever they were supposed to be. They left when they were not supposed to. And then God, in some fashion, somehow, possibly an illustration, possibly literal, put them into this dark pit that sometimes is written about in oh my God, in commentaries. Sometimes is written as if it's under the earth, like inside of the earth, and sometimes it's written as more of a spiritual place, where it's not really a physical place. It's not somewhere that we can like picture. We can picture the center of the earth, like kind of. You can kind of picture it. It's under your feet. So some interpretations say that these angels go into the center of the earth, which we've also talked about within Enoch, the center of the earth concept. But others believe it's more of a spiritual place. So you have the literal interpretation. You have more of, I guess they're both kind of literal. It's just which is which. So some people believe it's a physical location. Some people believe it's more of a metaphysical location. That's a better way to say that. That's a better way to say it. So physical versus metaphysical. Doctor, professor, theist. You got to do doctor, professor, father, theist. Because Drew calls me Father Joe, which I'm totally putting on a hat at some point. All right. And in those days, Noah saw the earth, that it had sunk down and its destruction was near. And he arose from there and went to the ends of the earth and cried aloud to his grandfather Enoch. And Noah said 3 times with an embittered voice, "Hear me, hear me, hear me." And I said to him, "Tell me what it is that is falling out on the earth, that the earth is in such evil plight and shaken, lest perchance I shall perish with it." And there was a great disturbance on the earth, and a voice was heard from heaven. And I fell on my face, and Enoch, my grandfather, came and stood by me and said to me, "Why have you cried to me with a bitter cry and weeping? Why you crying, boy?" A command has gone out from the presence of the Lord concerning those who dwell on the earth, and that their ruin is accomplished, because they have learned all the secrets of the angels and all the violence of the Satans, deceivers, accusers. Here is a friendly reminder for anybody who does not know. Satan is not the name of, call it God's mortal enemy. Satan is not the name of that dude or that angel or whatever you want to call it, that demon. Satan is a title. It is a descriptive term. We have just done what we do best with words and give them no meaning by using them inappropriately and improperly, and then it catches on and then it becomes a thing. Just something to understand. The second Enoch's explained there. Yeah, in part, right? I think it's both, just like everything. Ghost came back. Ghost, you just couldn't stay away. You better not be ditching your family for this, though. You need to be with the family, man. Both physical and spiritual. That's kind of where I lean, man. I have a hard time. I tend to lean a little bit more to the spiritual with this and most things. I just think it's too easy for us to explain spiritual things from an earthly context. It just seems too easy. It might be true, but it seems too easy to me. I tend more spiritual, but I think both physical and spiritual would also make sense. But Joe, question to the group: where is the Holy Trinity on this Apocrypha? That's a good question. We should ask the group that. Mikkel, see if when you're in Discord, see if you can post something and @alert. @alert will give everybody who signed up for alerts a notification. So if you have that ability, if you don't, let me know and I'll get you that ability. But that's a good question. That's a good question. I'd be curious to see what people say. Chapter 6, verse 6 discusses them being bound in Mount Arman, modern-day Lebanon or Syria. Chapter 6, verse 6, in what? Unless I missed it. If I did, I apologize. I had to poke my head in. Ghost, I love you, man. When they spoke with God or Jesus, were they addressed as singular or plural? I think that'll be a good question, man. That'd be interesting to see what people say about in the books of Enoch. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was the beginning. That was the first time we read it, or that was the first time it popped up. Lord of Spirits and Son of Man are distinct, right? It's been a while since I've read the book. Lord of Spirits and Son of Man are distinct. Yeah, or at least it appears that they're distinct. That's the way it comes across, yes. Two different people. The Holy Trinity is 3 in 1. How many? Quick poll. How many of you do believe in the... actually, you know, I'm going to make an actual poll. All right, there's a poll. Vote. Do you believe in the Trinity as a concept? Is this something you adhere to? Do your homework, family. Always. Always. 2 powers in heaven. Michael Heiser has some good teaching. He's so good, man. It's quality stuff. Quality stuff. All right, what time is it? 6:52. We're going to start wrapping things up. If there is anything that you guys want to discuss prior to getting off tonight, even if it is not related to what we're talking about with Enoch, just have it ready. And then in like 10 minutes, we're going to get rid of the book. We'll have kind of an open discussion for like 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll pop off for the night. All right, we have an author's note here. There are many meanings of the word Satan, but all indicate great negativity. Yes, it can mean one who opposes, accuses, or deceives. In this case, there is some confusion as to who the Satans are. We are told the fallen angels taught men to war, but we are also told that it was the children of the angels that were so destructive. We are told that the angels taught men sorcery and spells, but it was the spirits of the Nephilim that went out from their bodies to destroy. That's something good to come back to. If anybody's reading this along with on a Kindle, that's something good to take note of and come back to, because it is unclear. And all their powers, the most secret ones, and all the power of those who practice sorcery, and the power of witchcraft, and the power of those who make molten images for the whole earth. And how silver is produced from the dust of the earth, and how soft metal originates in the earth. For lead and tin are not produced from the earth like the first. It is a fountain that produces them. And an angel stands in it, and that angel is preeminent. And after that, my grandfather Enoch took hold of me by my hand and lifted me up and said to me, Go, for I have asked of the Lord, I have asked the Lord of spirits about this disturbance on the earth. And he said to me, because of their unrighteousness, their judgment has been determined and shall not be withheld by me forever. Because of the sorceries which they have searched out and learned, the earth and those who dwell on it shall be destroyed. Interesting. Flesh and blood will drown under the waters of the flood. All those who knew the fallen angels and all those who had given birth to their children would be killed. But the angel cannot die, and the spirits of the Nephilim do not need a body to survive. That is also something I would take a heavy note on. Spirits of the Nephilim do not need a body to survive. The text indicates the spirits need no food or water and go about unseen. So a bit of descriptive understanding for the spiritual world, right? These are descriptive concepts that we do not get within the canon. You will only find them outside of the canon. And from these, they have no place of repentance forever, because they have shown them what was hidden, and they are the damned. But as for you, my son, the Lord of spirits knows that you are pure and guiltless of this reproach concerning the secrets. And he has destined your name to be among the holy, and will preserve you among those who dwell on the earth, and has destined your righteous seed both for kingship and for great honors. And from your seed shall proceed a fountain of the righteous and holy without number forever. All right, we are actually going to stop right there. I keep getting stuff in my eye. We're going to stop right there, so we have a nice, easy place to come back to. We'll be on chapter 66. All right, I want to see. All right, so we got 75% of you believe the Trinity is a concept. 25% do not. Interesting. Anybody who voted no, I'm curious. Why? Unless it was the atheists, then I get why. But if anybody outside of an atheist said no to that question, I'm curious why. What's your reason? Since we are created in his image, I hold more to direct me because we are also body, soul, and spirit. This is just my hypothesis, of course. Interesting. It's an understandable theory. God calls himself Satan in Numbers 22:22, but it was the context of being opposition to Balaam. Yes. Yeah. That's the part that gets me, man. Is like even when you have very clear indications within the Bible and a whole bunch outside the Bible, if you took more than 3.5 seconds to try to learn, okay, what does Satan mean? What is Satan? Why is Lucifer called Satan? It takes 2 seconds to figure out that it is not a title. It's just a descriptive term. Maybe that, yeah, opposition is one of the things of what Satan is. That's why when I talk to you guys about like spirituality and we talked about demonology and things like that, I don't see Lucifer, Satan, as like a specific person. I just don't. I don't. It's the opposition, the enemy. Singular, plural, does it matter? No. So why we all get stuck on this one image of the devil and who Lucifer is, this one just preeminent being, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I understand it, but I just don't land there. Being a Satan to evil is actually a good thing. Yes, exactly. If you oppose evil, if you're in opposition of evil, you are doing a good thing. And yes, they're demons. Boom. That's why I like to use the term demons better than I like to reference Satan or Lucifer, because it's more broad and it encompasses more of the opposition of the Satan. Even if the act of faith includes the denial of God, where there is ultimate concern, God can be denied only in the name of God. Another good one, man. Another good one. If Gargar is on, it's probably him too. What? Gargar is Satan? Is that what is being said right now? Oh, Gordon. I've been seeing Gordon pop up in the comments lately. Slam, like for community. Gotta go. Yeah, thanks, Gordon. Yeah, well, you guys do that. You guys know I suck at doing the YouTube stuff, okay? I don't ask you guys to like stuff. I don't ask you guys to do anything, but will you do that? Because I don't ever ask. You guys do it though, because that's how we get new people here. Like we got Ghosts recently. We've got a bunch of new people recently from the stream. So guys, take 2 seconds real quick. Hit the like. When the video ends, if you want to help even more, leave a comment after the live chat goes away. And that will help the algorithm as well. Because I'm seeing there's a lot of people that are going back and watching these later. These Enoch videos are getting anywhere from like 300 to over 1,000 views later, which is really, really good. But we gotta try to push that more so we can get more people with more opinions and more ideas in here, because that'd be great. Lol jar. Goddess Lily, I appreciate it. I hope we find you in the Discord. I'm gonna throw that out again now, guys. Anybody who is not in Discord, hop in Discord. It's free, 100%. And we chat in there, and that's where we kind of prepare for everything else that we do. So this is the Discord. You got 127 people now. At the top, you'll always find where the newest events are. So if you click this events tab, whatever the next one is. So prior to Sunday, Sundays will be there. That's the one we're in right now. After this one, there will be a new one in there, and that'll be our Thursday discussion. Thursday discussion, again, for anybody who does not know, I post a poll here in the announcement section. You guys vote on what topic you want to cover, and then that is what we talk about on Thursday. And like I was saying earlier, I am planning... Oh, geez. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry, my work phone is ringing. I lost where I was. Oh, I'm planning on doing a third stream a week. I'm trying to figure out what day would be the best, whether it be a weekend or a weekday, and then how to structure that. So Sunday we do Bible study. Thursday we do a topic discussion that you guys pick. So then that third stream per week, I'm trying to figure out what exactly to make that. But it'll be something different so that, we have some variety. So we'll have the Bible study, we'll have the topic that you guys pick every week, and then we'll have a third one that I'm not sure yet. So if you guys have any suggestions for that, definitely let me know. But I'm hoping to get that going pretty soon here. There's 4 differing books of Enoch. They all written to each other, just so all y'all's and everybody knows and understands that. Yeah, we have all of them. So we're going to be reading through all of it. Technically, the word Trinity is not in Scripture, but it's implied. Yes, it doesn't show up anywhere. But it's one of these things where I talk about aggregating information. They got the Trinity by aggregating a bunch of texts within the New Testament that make it appear that way, that make it seem that that is the case. So who started to refer to it as the Trinity? I believe, and fact check me if I'm wrong, but I want to say it was the Catholic Church. I'm pretty sure. If not, it was Orthodox, but I'm like almost sure it was the Catholic Church. But if I'm wrong about that, let me know. Jalen says Catholic too, so we got 2 votes for Catholic. Maybe the third stream could be Christian influence in popular stories. Dude, that's what I was thinking, actually. Is like kind of a cultural podcast or a cultural stream where we talk about like, current events, current news that's happening, current TVs, movies, books. I agree. I think that'd be good. Like current stuff, because obviously there's a whole bunch of wild crap going on in the world right now. So we could do like more just go through like whatever the recent news and things that come out would be. I think that'd be really cool. So yeah, that just confirmed it for me. So unless somebody proposes something better, I think that is what we'll probably do. If you talk to my body as if I was another person, that would be like talking to God instead of Jesus. But if you talk to me, Gord, as if I knew Jesus, that is like talking to God, the Holy Spirit. I got to admit, that kind of confused me. I'm going to need to read that again. The Lord says, talk to him, not his father, if you want access to his father, because you'd look like a goof. You can't get God's attention if you aren't after his person. Christ the anointed, not Jesus. So, Gordon, and correct me if I'm wrong, are you saying that in order to get to God, you have to go through Jesus, like just prayer-wise? I'm curious. All hail Gord. Good God. Awesome, my friend. You and others are on it. Y'all and everybody are beautiful. You're beautiful, Timothy. It's cool to see some new people in here, man. That's awesome. We're going to be off in about 10 minutes. So anything else y'all want to throw it out. And any of you guys who are not in Discord, go get in Discord. I see that 2 people joined while we were on tonight. That's beautiful. We need different views, man. I want the widest spectrum of beliefs that exist under one roof in the Christian culture. That is what I want. I want from atheists to like wildly strict religious people, because that will give us like the best aggregated conversation. It's going to be phenomenal. I don't add to confuse that channel with quote Jesus end quote. Yes, and no one goes to the Father except through me. Yes, but so here's what I'm getting at. Do you believe intercession is required? Because that's what that is, right? The idea is that in order to speak to God in prayer, you would need to have Christ intercede for you. That's what I'm getting at. I'm aware of the verses, obviously. That's what I'm getting at. So do we believe that, say I wanted to sit here right now and talk to God the Father, okay? Do I need to talk to Jesus first? Do I need to be like, Jesus, I would like to talk to God about this. Can you buzz me in? Like standing at the bottom of the stairs of heaven apartment complex and hitting the buzzer, C34. That is where God is. That's what I'm asking. Obviously, the Christian belief, right, is that the only way we have access to God is because of what Jesus did and what Jesus came and did. So that many believe that is the intercession. Christ's actions, dying on the cross, the sacrifice, that was the intercession. And now we have direct access to God. There are others, though, which I see that you guys are kind of leaning that way, or at least it seems, that believe you still have to have Christ intercede for you in order to speak to God directly. I don't believe that, personally. I think what Jesus did was the intercession. And now, because of that, we're granted full access. I think the best analogy I can think of for the angel of the Lord to the Father is when we video chat someone that's not really you on the phone, but it also is. That's a good example, actually. It's a pretty good example, man. It's pretty good. I like that. This is systematic theology conversations. I'm going to need migraine meds for this. All the theologies, Rodriguez. We got to hit them all. Mark 12, Matthew at the garden. Really review Revelation chapter 1 through 4, then John and Ephesians 6. Anybody who wants to unpack what Timothy is getting at here? Those are the verses. I'm going to save them. I'll go read through them all. Blessed be Heavenly Father alone. So no Christ required for intercession. Is that what we're saying? Is that the consensus on that one? Screenshotted. Screenshorted. Short screened. So you say the son of Mary was the lamb? The son of Mary was the lamb? Did I say that? I don't like to use the term lamb. So I probably didn't say that. You mean, do I believe Jesus, who was the child of Mary, is God? I mean, that is the Christian belief, right? It's hard to be a Christian if you don't believe the Christ angle. It becomes a finicky thing to try to deal with that. He's the lamb because of his sacrifice. Yeah, of course. Like, I get the reference, but I don't like the lamb thing. I don't like the lamb. A lamb is a weak animal. I don't like it. But obviously, it's just a reference to Old Testament sacrifice. First, we had to sacrifice animals. Finally, Jesus comes along. Now we don't have to sacrifice animals anymore. Isaiah and James are together in knowledge and understanding and to be. I believe in the King of Angels, not the Son of Man. So, Gordon, from your angle, we heard ghosts. What is the difference to you? Just out of curiosity. Are they different people? Do they take on a different persona? Are they spiritual embodiments? There's a lot of different beliefs here. Where do you land with that? He's also a lion. Yes. I like the lion a lot more. I get the lamb thing. It's just a continuation of Old Testament sacrifice and why we don't do it anymore after Christ, because he was the ultimate sacrifice. I just don't like the lamb thing, because the lamb is a weak animal. And I don't like that we dwell on like Christ as a sacrifice. That is something he did, but that wasn't the point of him coming. It was to accomplish something through the sacrifice. I don't like that we focus on the sacrifice itself. Let's focus on why he did it. Mary was a doorway. That's like if I run out into the street to save a child and I get hit by a car and die, I don't want everybody remembering me as a guy who ran in front of a car. I want people remembering me as a guy who saved a child. Like that's the difference to me. That's why I don't like that. I don't like to think of Jesus as like this weak guy who got hung on a cross, because that's not what it was about. It was about what he was accomplishing by doing that. We haven't quite figured out that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me and I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. That's John 17:20-21 from Mikkel. An angel is not a being, just as an inference of an idea that isn't an abomination. A ghost is a memory. Interesting. I mean, I guess it depends on what you mean by being. Being is usually used as like within a spiritual context as trying to describe an entity of some kind that is not human, right? The spiritual. I respectfully disagree, says Jalen. You done been respectfully disagreed with, Gordon, by the Jalen. All right, I got like 5 minutes, guys, then I gotta run. I gotta put the kiddo to bed. I gotta try to eat something. Let's get the Discord QR code up. Anybody who has not got in yet. A few of you I see already did. That's lovely. Look forward to seeing you in there. The Jalen. I mean, you have established yourself in this group, Jalen. You are always here. You're very reliable. You always add a lot to it. You are a paramount player in what we are trying to accomplish here. So you are the Jalen. You in and of yourself are a proper term. You are a proper person. You are lovely. All right, real quick before we get off, so Thursday conversations again, right when I take it off, I'm gonna put it back up. Thursday conversations again. These are based on These are based on you guys' votes. Okay. I do not pick the topics. I post a poll. You guys vote. That's what we talk about on Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time. So, are there any topics you want me to add to the list? We've done LGBTQ, Christianity, part 1, part 2. Now part 3 is on that list. We did flat earth once. We'll probably end up doing a part 2. We have why are modern churches failing in almost every way. That's a topic. We have where philosophy and theology collide. We've got all these. It can be anything. It can be cultural. It can be spiritual. It can be theological. It can be biblical. It doesn't matter. We have why are men supposed to be protectors, not dominators? All of these different things are going to be discussed. So if there are any specific topics outside of what you've already seen me post, then give me those so I can add them. Rodriguez wants church cover-ups added. Man, that's going to be a 10-part series right there, man. Church cover-ups. That's a freaking 50-part series. I like church failings. I like when churches fail too, Ghost. It's okay. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, the churches failing will be a good one because anybody who is not a part of the drama about a month ago, I posted a pretty controversial thing on Instagram and it got blown up. People were not happy about it at all. So that sparked that whole thing. So let's see. So church cover-ups are added. We now have evolution and adaptation added because the atheists earlier, I think they're gone now, but they wanted to cover that. Go big or go home for 12 parts. There's angels and those under them. There's very many deities and those under them. Oh, there's death. There's spectacles, ghosties. Oh, there's demons as well. Yeah, I mean, agreed. A deep dive into what kind of people run the biggest corporations like we talked about the other day. Yeah, Ghost, I don't think you were around yet. And it was on Instagram, so if you don't have me on Instagram, you wouldn't have seen it. But it became just a big mess. So I had to do like a follow-up to it and kind of explain more clearly what I meant, but standing by everything I said because I believe everything I said. But I expressed it more clearly. But it was this. It was that churches today function as more of a business than a house of God. Period. Now, there is kind of a cutoff. And in my opinion, it's due to size. I believe once a church gets to a certain size, it cannot be God first anymore. It's not possible due to the way that it has to function in order to keep money coming in, keep congregants in the seats, and because they're beholden to a church planning organization like ARC. And I kind of explained that I went through the process of planning a church in Chicago. We had $500,000 of funding secured through a church planning organization that will not be named. and I pulled out as soon as we got to the legal paperwork because I refused to do what they were asking me to do. So it started this whole thing, but it'll be an interesting one. And it's just how churches run, and at what point do they become focused on having to keep themselves running, usually financially, and how the smaller ones are able to stay God focused because they don't scale up. Gargar is Shannon's husband, who is a lovely man. Freemasonry is the elephant in the room. Yeah, Freemasonry is actually also, it's already on the list. I think it's Freemasonry. Is it demonic? Because there are obviously a lot of beliefs that you'll see where like Freemasons are described as Satan worshipers, and then you'll see the opposite where they're men of God. It just kind of depends. I apologize in advance, but Jesus' sacrifice or death killing was an expected accidental result. From an historical context, the Hebrew being under Roman Empire control was an accidental result. You got to explain that more. I'm puzzled, Mikkel. Puzzled. Shout out to Gargar then. Yeah, he's great. Every institution is touched by duality, for sure. 100%. Oh, Timothy. Don't be quiet. We're about to get off, though. Oh, we're actually getting off right now. All right, let me pull up the prayer real quick, see if there's anything in there. Guys, remember, you can submit a prayer request, either public or private. Public ones get read on the stream, other than the days I forget or we run out of time. But otherwise, they will be brought up on the stream here. Private ones obviously stay private. They stay with the prayer team and with myself. All right, I think we were probably here. All right. I've got... Okay, just the one. Just the one. Shannon. Shannon would like us to pray for her to help her. Forgive her chain of command for what they have done to her. Help me pray for them as I feel their thirst for power is clouding their judgment, shocking in the military. Pray that I let go of all the pain and anger that they bring upon myself and others in our department. Yeah, Shannon, your whole situation is so wild, man. It's so wild. All right, let's pray real quick. God, thank you for giving us the ability to come together and do this. This is growing in a beautiful way. And the longer we go on, the more just wildly fun people and intelligent people we have join. I think it's phenomenal. The spectrum of beliefs that we have is more than I could have ever asked for. It's very motivating and keeps me extremely engaged in what we're doing. I like a lot that people push back. I appreciate the fact that people will check me on things and not just take what I say as, the word of God. That's a beautiful thing. I appreciate that you've brought all of us together. God, I want to pray for culture in general. We live in a broken society with people who are as confused as they've ever been. I want to pray for parents to keep a good eye on their children in terms of culture, to keep their kids kind of on the right track as society and culture in general continues to roll just very harshly downhill. So I pray for strong parents, strong families, just strong people in general to try to help lead us out of the pit that we've been digging for the past handful of years. I pray that we continue to grow this group in a meaningful way, not in a quantitative way. I want quality here. I don't want quantity here. So I pray that we continue to be on the same track that we're going on, a super slow grind into getting a bunch of people who just really care about learning more. We're not here to all believe the same thing. We're not here to try to make anybody look good or anybody look bad. We're just here to try to figure out what stuff means, what you want, what the goal is, what the purpose is, what these historical documents we're trying to get across to people, and what we're all here for, just in general. So we love you. We appreciate everything that is happening here and the continued growth of just wildly fun and smart people. It's been phenomenal. So thank you. Pray this all in Jesus' name. Everybody have a lovely rest of your Sunday. I will post a poll for Thursday tonight before bed. It'll run for 2 days. So you have 2 days to get your vote in before you will be out of luck. And then that'll be what we do on Thursday. Just again, for the last time, Sunday, we do Bible study at 6 p.m. Central Time. That's what we're at right now. We're doing Enoch until probably, honestly, until next year at the rate we're going. And then Thursday, we do a topic discussion that you guys vote on. So get in Discord, vote on the topic. I'll post that Discord link one more time. Please, on your way out, if you did not like the video, do that. You guys know I don't ask for stuff like that. I don't care. However, the more you guys are chatting, the more you guys are liking stuff, the more people we're getting. Like we got Ghost and we got a handful of new people, Timothy, Dumbcat, all these people who are here now are here because of you guys engaging with the video, right? So as much as I hate to like shill YouTube, because it's just not me, we got to do it. You know what I mean? So if you could like the video, like I said, once the video ends, if you can come back and leave a comment, because the live chat goes away, leave an actual comment. That will help the algorithm as well. These Enoch videos are getting up to 1,000, sometimes more views after the fact. So we've gotten people from that too. So just keep that in mind. Just keep in mind that the more you guys do to help the YouTube channel, the more people we're going to have on these streams. So the more opinions we're going to have, the more people we're going to have to come to Discord who are able to add to those conversations, keep it lively, keep it engaging. It all just, it's cyclical, right? It's a cyclical thing. So just keep that in mind. Try to help that grow. It's not for me. It's really for the group. I want more people in the group. I don't get paid anything from YouTube. So it's not about that. The people we've gotten have been awesome. So love you guys. We'll see you next week. I'll talk to you guys in Discord. Until then,